Well, hi there, Internet. My name's Court. You've got courtside seats for my review of Marvel's Eternals. Let's do it. Eternals is an action-adventure fantasy from co-writer and director Chloe Zhao and Marvel Studios. The film stars Gemma, Richard Madden, Angeline, Jolie, Salma Hayek, Kit Harington, Kumail Nanjiani, McHugh, Brian Tyree Henry, Lauren Ridloff, Barry Keoghan, and Don Lee. The saga of the Eternals, a race of immortal beings who lived on Earth and shaped its history and civilizations. I'm a fan of this movie, but I will admit I was more curious about it than I was psyched for it. I don't know anything about these characters or anything about the story. But what I found most interesting about it was that it was directed by Chloe Zhao, who of course did last year's Nomadland, which won her Best Picture and Best Director. That was a quiet little introspective film. This is a ginormous blockbuster. So I was curious to see what she would do with it because the movies could not be more different. That said, a good storyteller is a good storyteller. All that said, I thought this movie was okay. It's definitely lower tier Marvel. I certainly liked it better than Thor 2, which I have now attempted 3 times and still have not managed to get all the way through it. But this is also far from the highs of like an Endgame or say a Winter Soldier. Before I get to the cast, I will say the first thing that stood out to me were the visuals. I thought they were stunning and incredibly creative. Thena's weapons, the look of the spaceship, Arishem himself, the costuming, just an absolutely beautiful looking film. And I thought the cast did a really strong job. Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek are both good. They're also both kind of barely in the movie. As is Kit Harington, I think he's got like 3 scenes. The standouts for me were Richard Madden, Gemma, who is ostensibly the main character, and McHugh as Sprite. I did unsurprisingly find Kumail Nanjiani quite funny in here, although I'm not entirely sure why he went to all that work to get in crazy good shape. We literally never see it. I'm not saying we need to see Kumail Nanjiani topless, but if we're not going to, have a slice of pizza, man. It's gonna be fine. I also did find it pretty funny that in this movie, Robb Stark and Jon Snow were friends with somebody named Cersei. It's spelled differently, but still. Interestingly enough, the score here was composed by Ramin Djawadi, who of course did Game of Thrones. I will say, much as I love that man's work, the score here did not stand out to me all that much, aside from a couple really strong moments. I dug the mythology in here, the hints of religion, the diversity of the cast and the characters, all that worked really well for me. I'll also mention there is an incredibly graphic sex scene. I'm joking, it's not graphic at all. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we've ever actually seen a sex scene in an MCU movie. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I also loved that this didn't feel like a carbon copy MCU movie. It does feel like it belongs in the franchise, but it's definitely a little bit different. It's less glossy, it's less funny. And when I say less funny, I don't mean like the jokes don't land. I mean, they're not going for as many. Though there are still some, and I got a couple of good laughs. And while some of those differences did work for me, and some of them didn't, I'm glad they just tried to go a little bit outside of their comfort zone. Having said all that though, I had a number of frustrations with Eternals. First off, it's long. It's 2 hours and 37 minutes, and it feels it. It's also incredibly overstuffed. There are a lot of characters to introduce, and some of them get a lot more to do than others. There are some characters that I feel like I've got a pretty solid understanding of now, and there are other Eternals whose names I do not even remember. In some cases, I can't remember which character has which power. Now, no, it doesn't have nearly as many characters as like in Infinity War or an Endgame, but those movies didn't have to introduce new people, like we already knew who they were. I also really didn't like the Deviants as the movie's sort of central villains. There's very little to them, not a lot of motivation. They're just big CGI monster cannon fodder. I didn't find them intimidating or interesting in any way. I also didn't particularly like their design. And while the stakes are incredibly high in this movie, I never really felt them, and I never really cared. Maybe that's because I didn't know the characters, but I just had this feeling throughout the whole film of like, well, you know, if the bad guys win, it is what it is, which is not what you want. I think Eternals is worth seeing, and on the big screen if you can and feel comfortable doing so, as it does look pretty incredible. But like I said, it's lower tier MCU for me, and if I'm being honest, I will probably never watch it again. I just didn't find it all that interesting. Now, I don't have a proprietary rating system as of yet, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna give Eternals, and I think I'm gonna give Eternals a...
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Out of 10. So now, I want to know, have you seen Eternals? What did you think about it? What's your favorite movie in all of the MCU? Whatever your thoughts, hit the comments below. Let's discuss. If you enjoyed this review, please smash that like button and give it a share if you really enjoyed it. It just helps the video reach more people, helps the channel grow. I appreciate it very much. And hey, why not take a second, do me a favor, click subscribe and ring that bell to subscribe to my channel for more movie reviews, entertainment news, trailer reactions, all that good stuff. Hope you guys are all safe and healthy. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Take care.